It's not by trying to manifest that you manifest. It's when you stop trying and start remembering who you are that the universe finally moves. Most people are collapsing the wrong reality, trapped in effort, control, and anxiety. But there's a turning point no one told you about. What looks like the end is actually the beginning of the leap. You're about to cross an invisible portal, and the key is in your frequency, not your force. Maybe you've felt lately that something is about to happen, but you can't explain what. That sense of being almost there, on the edge, yet nothing materializes. What if I told you that this vacuum between desire and realization isn't a mistake, but the exact field where miracles begin to take shape? You're not stuck. You're being prepared. But the problem is, in the anxiety of wanting to see quantum manifestation materialize, you end up activating the wrong frequency. That of lack, of desperation, of where is it? And this is the most common trap. The more you chase, the further it gets. Not because the universe wants to test you, but because you're emitting the vibration of what you don't want instead of living what already is. In this video, we're going to walk together through this space between worlds. The place where you learn to trust the universe, to let go and receive effortlessly. You'll understand how your subconscious mind, your internal programming, and your self-image create your current timeline, and how, through conscious decisions, you can trigger a reality shift. Here, you won't just learn manifestation techniques. You'll activate an identity shift that transforms your life from the inside out. Have you noticed that sometimes, just when it feels like everything is stuck, that's when life is about to make its biggest move? That strange silence, where nothing seems to happen, isn't punishment. It's space. And space isn't a void, it's preparation. Most people don't realize that before any quantum manifestation, the energetic field needs a pause, a moment of reorganization before the new reality collapses into the physical. It's as if the universe were making a dramatic pause, like that suspenseful moment in a movie, right before the big twist. When everything seems stagnant, it's actually an invisible transformation. The problem is we've been conditioned to fear silence, as if it meant failure. But emptiness is only the sign that something is being shifted at another frequency. A timeline jump doesn't start with noise, it starts with surrender. Let me tell you about a time when this became clear to me. I had just left a project that seemed promising, but suddenly evaporated. Nothing made sense. I felt directionless, until I realized I wasn't lost. I was in transition. The vibrational frequency needed to change, and that uncomfortable silence was the field adjusting. That's when I began reprogramming my subconscious mind. It's like the moment between inhaling and exhaling, an interval we rarely pay attention to, but which sustains the whole rhythm of breathing. Without that space, there would be no flow. And that's exactly what the void does to your manifestation. It allows the flow of a new reality to begin. But for that, you need to learn to trust the universe, even when everything feels like nothing. Most people want to fill all spaces with activities, certainties, distractions, but the void is sacred. It's there that your new internal programming begins to vibrate. It's like the womb of the invisible, where the new is still being gestated. When you understand this, you stop fighting the silence and start listening to it, because that's where your new identity is being born. If you've been through this, you know how unsettling it is. But you also know how suddenly everything shifts, and it shifts fast. It's as if the energetic field were just waiting for your alignment to take action. Elevated vibration isn't made only of excitement. It's made of presence, even in silence. You start raising your vibration not when everything is happening, but when you stay steady even when nothing is happening. Here's a practical exercise. When you feel silence pressing in, instead of rushing for distraction, take a deep breath and mentally say, asterisk, I am in energetic alignment with what is coming. Asterisk, do this every day, even for just 2 minutes. You'll start noticing subtle changes. Different dreams, sudden insights, synchronicities that seem small but carry clues. This kind of surrender transforms your self-image. You stop seeing yourself as someone waiting for the miracle, and start seeing yourself as the channel through which the miracle comes. That's when reality shift begins to truly collapse. Because quantum manifestation doesn't depend on what you see out there, but on what you feel in here, especially when everything outside looks still. Now think, what if the silence you feel today is the same one that preceded that moment when everything once worked out in your past? You know those times when, out of nowhere, an opportunity, a person, an invitation appeared and everything changed? That's it. The void was the rehearsal. The difference now is that, with awareness, you can choose to go through it with faith instead of fear. And the difference between those who manifest and those who get stuck along the way lies exactly here, in how they deal with silence. Some despair, others listen. Some freeze, others align. You're here now because you already know there is more in the invisible than in the visible. And what comes next may completely change the way you understand the signs of the universe. By the way, if this content is reminding you of your own process, take a moment to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. We're building a community that understands what it means to live between the visible and the vibrational. And in the next part of this video, I'll show you why the universe's signs don't appear when you're looking for them, and how that reveals the true power of letting go and receiving. Have you noticed that the more you wait for a sign, the less it shows up? Almost like the universe is teasing you, right? But there's a hidden pattern here. The vibration of waiting carries scarcity, carries doubt, and doubt, energetically, is like noise that distorts the channel through which the signs arrive. The truth is, life's greatest downloads come when you least expect them, and even more, when you least need them. We've been trained to look for signs as if they were proof that we're on the right path. But seeking signs is often doubting your own path. The energetic field works through resonance, not desperation. And when you release control and enter the vibrational frequency of trust, the universe understands that now you're ready to receive. Receiving isn't passivity, it's readiness. Want a classic example? Have you ever tried to remember the name of a song, and no matter how hard you tried, it wouldn't come? But then, when you gave up, bam! The name just popped into your mind. Same principle. The brain, in connection with the subconscious mind, works best when tension is released. And the quantum field is no different. That's why the most effective manifestation techniques always involve letting go. Letting go and receiving is a dance, a movement of back and forth. And truly letting go isn't about giving up on what you want. It's about trusting so much that you already feel as if you've received it. The energy of worthiness begins to vibrate strongly when you say, from the inside out, asterisk, I don't need to chase, because what's mine is already on its way. Asterisk, that's the essence of collapsing reality. Let me share something personal. For years, I tried to manifest a big project. I did everything right. Visualized, meditated, affirmed, but nothing flowed. Until one day, exhausted, I literally let go. I went for a walk, took a deep breath, and decided to just live the day. That same week, the connection that changed everything showed up. What I didn't realize was that by letting go, I finally got out of the way. Some people think, asterisk, but if I let go, nothing will happen. Asterisk, that belief comes from a self-image tied to control, not creation. But true creation doesn't come from pressure, it comes from flow. And to enter the flow, you need to trust the universe, even without visible signs. The sign you're waiting for is often waiting for you to shift frequency so it can manifest. Let's apply this now. Over the next few days, choose something you really want and, instead of thinking about it all the time, live as if it were already on its way. Use the phrase, asterisk, this is already resolved. Asterisk, and observe what starts happening. You'll notice that the energetic field responds to certainty with synchronicity, not to desperation with proof. That's the power of subconscious mind reprogramming. You change the inner story, and the outer shifts with it. Manifestation techniques like scripting, passive visualization, and intentional breathing help you keep the focus on feeling, not wanting. Because wanting too much vibrates scarcity. feeling as if it's already yours vibrates abundance. And then the field says, asterisk, now we're in energetic alignment. Asterisk. Another point, many of the signs you expect aren't visual or material, they're sensations. A sudden relief, a strange urge to go somewhere, an insight in the middle of your routine. That's a timeline jump. It's the new reality pulling you in, but without fireworks. Most people ignore it because they're waiting for something dramatic. But those who are sensitive to the subtle create in the invisible what later explodes in the visible. Sometimes, the sign is an unexpected pause in your day, a delay that changes everything, a conversation that seemed random. These accidents are quantum intelligence in action. If your vibration is elevated, you'll know exactly how to respond. Because the universe communicates with those who have inner silence, not with those making noise in their minds. And remember, the universe doesn't need to prove anything to you. You are the one who needs to align your identity with what you desire. Shift your internal programming from, I need a sign, to asterisk, the sign has already been sent. I'm just tuning into it. Asterisk, that changes everything. And it also prepares the ground for what's coming next. The moment when fear shows up to test whether you truly believe in your new reality. There's a curious pattern no one tells you about. The closer you are to manifesting something big, the stronger fear shows up. That's no coincidence. It's biology and energy at the same time. Your subconscious mind was programmed to protect you from any threat, including what's new, even if it's something wonderful. The new is uncertain, and the brain prefers familiar pain over unknown pleasure. You know that knot in your stomach when it feels like things are finally starting to work out? That sudden doubt, that sabotaging thought like asterisk, is this really for me? Asterisk, that's the old you trying to pull you back into the internal programming, And that's where many people give up, not because they lack ability, but because they fear sustaining the new identity that comes with a shift in reality. Fear carries a low vibrational frequency. When you feed it, you distance yourself from the energetic field where your manifestations are vibrating. And worse, you reinforce the old self-image, full of limiting beliefs. Fear wants you to stay where you are. But your new self is ready to collapse reality and take a timeline leap. It just needs you to hold steady at the critical moment. Let me give you a personal example. Before I decided to put my work out into the world, I felt paralyzing fear. And this was even with clear signs that it was the right path. But the identity shift forced me to face deep layers of the subconscious mind. When you begin living something that once existed only in your dreams, your old system collapses. That's the final test. It's as if the universe were saying, asterisk, do you really want this? Then prove you can sustain it without running away from who you're becoming. Asterisk, and then comes the avalanche of insecurities, physical symptoms, anxiety, all at once. But it's not punishment. It's purification. It's the energetic field realigning, clearing away vibrational residue from the past to make room for the new. You need to understand that quantum manifestation isn't just about visualizing or thinking positive. It demands an identity shift, a reallocation of your inner vibration. Reprogramming your mind involves confronting the ghosts living in your unconscious, and they usually scream the loudest when they realize they're losing control. Fear is just the cry of the old program trying to survive. Here's a secret. Fear is one of the best signs you're on the right path. Why? Because it only shows up at full strength when you're about to break away from the familiar. It's like the darkness before dawn, the chaos before the shift in reality. And what gets you through that portal is your ability to raise your vibration in the midst of discomfort. So instead of fighting fear, change your relationship with it. See it as a sign that you're just millimeters away from collapsing your new reality. When you take a deep breath, face it head on, and say, thank you for showing me where I still need to trust. Something magical happens. Fear loses its grip. You stop trying to control the path and begin to let go and receive. The vibration of trust is an antidote to fear. Trust isn't having all the answers. It's feeling that you're being guided even when you don't know how. It's trusting the universe, even when nothing around you makes sense. That kind of surrender activates the energy of worthiness, and what you feel you're worthy of manifests much faster in the quantum field. Another essential point: start anchoring the version of you who has already overcome that fear. Imagine how this version walks, speaks, decides. The technique of expanded identity helps shift your self-image and reprogram your subconscious mind. Create small daily rituals. Light a candle, play a specific song, wear an outfit that represents your elevated vibration. Small gestures that sustain big transformations. And if fear insists on coming back, and it will, welcome it but don't obey it. Keep moving. With every step toward the unknown, you dissolve the resistance that kept you from attracting abundance with ease. You begin to see that everything separating you from what you desire wasn't the universe. It was you still trying to fit into an old pattern. From a quantum perspective, fear is just a frequency. And like any frequency, it can be transmuted. Gratitude, for example, vibrates much higher. If in the middle of the crisis you can feel gratitude, genuine gratitude, not just out of habit, you break the cycle of fear instantly. It's like switching radio stations. The signal is still there, but now you're hearing a different song. So next time fear shows up, don't run. Feel it, breathe it, honor it, but don't stop. Fear is only the final guardian at the portal of the new timeline. It only appears when the identity shift is about to happen. And after that comes the most powerful moment of all. When you begin moving as if you already are the person you wish to be. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about next. Have you noticed how, for so long, we live just waiting for life to happen? Waiting for money to show up, for love to appear, for validation to arrive. We live as if on standby, hoping that one day everything will change. But what if I told you that day only comes when you decide to stop waiting and start being? Reality shifts begin with a silent decision, one no one else sees, but the universe feels. This is the moment when you consciously choose to embody the identity of the version of yourself who is already living the life you dream of. And it's not make-believe, it's energetic realignment. You start reprogramming your mind by living as if you had already collapsed the desired reality. You no longer wait for the external sign. You become the sign. And that, my friend, changes everything. There's a huge difference between someone who tries to manifest and someone who already lives in the vibrational frequency of quantum manifestation. The first operates from desire, lack, and scarcity. The second operates from certainty, wholeness, and worthiness. And guess which of these frequencies has the power to collapse realities? The one already in energetic alignment with what is desired. To help you understand, think of a radio. When you turn the dial to the right station, the music simply starts playing. You don't beg the radio to play, you just tune in. That's what happens when you embody the self-image of your future self. You stop begging for results and start living in a state of readiness, vibrating so strongly that the universe has no choice but to respond. Now imagine you want to attract abundance. Instead of waiting for it to fall from the sky, you start acting like someone who already lives in abundance. This doesn't mean spending money you don't have. It means living with the mindset of someone who trusts, someone who lets go and receives. Your internal programming shifts, and your energetic field begins attracting situations that match this new identity. I remember a time when I was only studying, reading books and watching videos, but nothing truly changed. Until one day I made a decision to act as if I already were the mentor I wanted to be. I started recording videos even with few views. I started teaching even when no one asked. And that's when my vibration shifted, and everything around me began responding differently. The universe doesn't respond to intention alone. It responds to coherence. When your thought, emotion, and action are in sync, you become a quantum magnet. That's the point where quantum manifestation becomes inevitable. The timeline shift doesn't happen because you did something magical, but because you became magnetic, you aligned. If you want to see your reality shift, the most powerful question you can ask is, how does the version of me who already lives this behave? And then comes the practical exercise. Write that version. In detail. How they wake up, how they speak, what they eat, how they handle challenges. And then, every day, act as if you were that version until you realize you're no longer acting, you're being. That's the real manifestation technique no shallow video teaches. It's about identity shift. From there, your subconscious mind starts to reprogram effortlessly. Because you're not trying to convince yourself of something, you're living it. And it's so powerful that even your body starts responding. Posture changes, breathing changes, decisions change. And you know what else changes? The people around you. Some drift away because your new frequency no longer matches theirs. Others show up out of nowhere because they vibrate exactly at your new level. The energetic field adjusts. The external world starts reflecting your elevated vibration. And you realize you're no longer waiting, you're living. The great secret is this: you don't wait to feel worthy. You feel it and then you become it. That's the difference between intentional creation and living in reaction to chance. Once you understand this, there's no going back. And it's exactly at this turning point that a new challenge emerges. Sustaining this new vibration when the world tries to pull you back. But that's a subject for the next point, where we'll explore how to sustain your frequency even on difficult days, even through setbacks, and how to turn those moments into even greater momentum. You know that moment when everything seems to finally start working out, and suddenly, out of nowhere, a wave of chaos shows up? That's not coincidence. It's the universe testing whether you'll hold your new vibration or slip back into the old pattern. It's as if life were saying, asterisk, do you really want this new reality? Then hold this frequency even under pressure. Asterisk, and that's when the magic begins. When you're in the process of shifting identity, the external world often still reflects the old you. And that can be frustrating. But this is exactly where the most important part of quantum manifestation comes in. Sustaining the frequency even when the scenery hasn't changed yet. You don't wait for change to feel different. You feel different so that change can come. Keeping your vibration high doesn't mean living in constant euphoria. It means staying conscious even on gray days. It means noticing triggers, scarcity thoughts, inner saboteurs, and not feeding them. It's like watching dark clouds in the sky without letting them define your inner weather. Your consistency creates the energetic field needed to materialize what you want. One powerful practice I use is conscious breathing. When chaos knocks, I take a deep breath, place my hand on my chest, and ask, asterisk, does this emotion bring me closer to or further from the reality I want to live? Asterisk, that simple pause reconnects you with the subconscious mind and reprograms the nervous system to respond calmly. Remember, collapsing reality isn't about speed. It's about energetic consistency. Another key point is your environment. Sometimes your vibration doesn't drop because you're weak, but because you're surrounded by noise. People complaining, heavy news, toxic social media. To sustain a high vibration, you need to do a vibrational cleanse of your surroundings. You don't have to become a hermit, but you do need to choose intentionally who and what you let into your mind. And here's a detail most people overlook. How much you judge yourself affects your frequency. When you slip up and criticize yourself, you disconnect from the energy of worthiness. But when you welcome the fall with compassion and return to center with lightness, you realign. You don't need to be perfect to manifest, you just need to be present and aware. It's like keeping a flame lit in a windy place. You don't fight the wind, you don't curse the candle. You protect the flame with your hands carefully. And each day it grows stronger. The same thing happens with your new identity. It starts fragile, but the more you nourish it with aligned actions, the stronger it becomes. And the old version slowly loses space until it disappears completely. Sustaining the new vibration also means having the courage to say no. No to what distracts you, diminishes you, or reminds you of the old self. It means stepping away from certain places, releasing some friendships, changing habits that no longer fit. This requires presence. And even more, it requires trust that you're building something greater. You need to trust the universe even when nothing seems to make sense. And when everything else fails, have a reconnection ritual. It could be walking silently in nature, listening to a specific playlist, journaling as if you already had everything you desire. These are emotional anchors that pull you back into energetic alignment. Small daily habits that help you reprogram your mind, recharge your field, and stay in flow. The true technique of manifestation isn't a secret method hidden in an old book. It's the sum of micro-choices made with awareness every day. It's knowing that each time you say yes to your new identity, the universe comes closer to collapsing that reality for you. And each time you stumble but return with more presence, you strengthen the bond with your future self. Maintaining this frequency is a way of declaring to the universe, asterisk, I am ready. Asterisk, it's this vibrational consistency that activates timeline jumps. You stop hopping between realities and begin to anchor the new one, the one where you already are, already have, already live everything you desire. And from here, there comes a point where everything transforms. And it's exactly at that point that the final revelation begins. How to turn all of this into a natural state of being, where you stop chasing results and start living in a continuous flow of effortless manifestation. Now tell me, after everything we've explored, what's still keeping you from living the reality you truly desire? Isn't it time to stop doubting and start behaving like someone who already lives in the vibration of abundance, love, and full trust? You already have the knowledge, the tools, and the power. But your life will only transform when you transform the way you see yourself. What's the first step you can take today to collapse the reality your future self is already living? What pattern do you need to let go of now to make space for the new? Drop it in the comments. What was the most powerful insight you had during this video? I really want to know. And if this content stirred something inside you, inspired you, or helped you see the path more clearly, then do this. Subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and come with me on this journey of expansion. Because here, we don't just talk about awakening, we live it every day.